Now the next topic which we are going to discuss here is a very simple topic. Okay, so that is nothing but constructor overloading. What is the topic we're going to see here? We're going to talk about a topic called as constructor overloading. What is constructor overloading? Okay, you know method overloading, no? Same. Here it's constructor. Okay, same three rules we have to follow. Imagine I have a class A, open curly braces, close. So if I want to have a constructor, the constructor name and the class name should always be same. A, open parenthesis, close, and open curly braces, close here. What is constructor overloading? The process of having multiple constructors in the same class but difference in arguments. I can have any number of constructors in my class, but if I do have multiple constructors within my class, I need to follow certain rules. If I do not follow certain rules here, then it will throw me an error. Okay, so this is what we are supposed to understand over here. Got the clarity here? Okay, so now let us try to understand what is constructor overloading. In a class, having multiple constructors is called as constructor overloading. But when I have multiple constructors, I need to follow certain rules, okay, to make it valid. Okay, the first rule is there should be a change in the number of arguments. If the first constructor is accepting one argument, okay, the second constructor should be different. Okay, it should accept something apart from one argument. Here it is accepting one argument. Imagine it is two arguments. Okay, here it is accepting zero arguments. Is it valid? Absolutely valid. Here imagine it is string. Okay, so what did you understand over here? It is absolutely valid? Huh? Yes. Why? Because there is a change in number of arguments. Here the number of arguments are 2. Here the number of argument is 1. So there was a change with respect to number of arguments. Imagine if the number of arguments are same, there should be a change in the data type here. See here, imagine here, okay, there should be a change in the data type. So here I'll just write it as double B. So now is it valid here? See, number of arguments 2, number of arguments 2. Both the constructors are accepting 2 arguments, so it's invalid. But if the number of arguments are same, there should be a change in the data type. Here it is int, string. Here it is string, double, meaning there was a change in the data types here. In the first constructor, it was int and string. In the second constructor, it is string and double here. So there was a change in the data type of the arguments here. The number of arguments might be same, but the data type was different. What if the data type is also same and the arguments is also same here? Okay, so here it will be this way. See, if you could closely observe, the number of arguments are 2, the number of arguments are 2 here. See, A, B, A, B. So the number of arguments are 2 here. Look at the data type, one integer, one string. One integer, one string. Here, one string and one integer. So what did you understand here? Okay, one integer, one string. Here also it's one integer, one string here. Even the data types are same. One integer, one string, one integer, one string. But look at the sequence in which it is written. Here first it's integer, then string. Here it is string and then integer. So there was a change. See, int and string in the first constructor, but in the second constructor it was string and int. So there was a change in the sequence in which it is written. So this is called as constructor overloading. So it's just a 10 minutes concept because you already know what is method overloading. If you know method overloading, constructor overloading is very easy to understand. Okay, so just go back to my notes here. I've just had a couple of questions here. Okay, so what is constructor overloading? See here, the process of having multiple constructors in the same class but difference in arguments. Meaning once we have multiple constructors in the same class, we need to make it valid. In order to make it valid, I need to follow certain rules. What are the rules here? Change in the number of arguments or data type of the arguments or the sequence. Either of these one rule I need to satisfy. There are 3 rules. I need to satisfy at least one rule. Then constructor overloading will be valid. Okay, so this is what we are supposed to understand when it comes to the data here, right? So now here, I go back to my Eclipse. I'll do it practically over here. I'll have a class, okay? And the class name, imagine, it is, we'll take it as, what can we take here? Okay, we'll take it as car. Okay, we'll take it as a class called as car here. Oh, car is already there. We'll take it as bike. Oh, bike is also already there. Okay, we'll take it as vehicle. Okay, done. So I have created a class called as vehicle. So now class name and constructor name should always be same here. Okay, open parenthesis close, open curly braces close. Here it is accepting string brand, comma, okay, int fuel here. Int cost here. It is accepting string brand and int cost here. So over here, I will just accept the string brand here. Is this valid here? Absolutely. Why? The process of having multiple constructors is called as constructor overloading. But here, there is a change in the number of arguments. Okay. But look at the third constructor, it will give me an error. Why? because the arguments are same in first constructor and second constructor. Okay, so therefore there should be a change in, if the number of arguments are same, there should be a change in the data type here. So here I will just have it as string fuel here. Okay, so here if I just understand, okay, so you got the clarity here. Here the number of arguments are 2, here the number of arguments are 2, but there was a change in the data type here, string and int over here, but here it is string and string over here. Got it? So this is what we are supposed to understand. Okay. So here in the first example and the fourth example, it's an error. Why? Because see, the number of arguments are same, number of arguments are same. Data type is also same, data type is also same. If the data type is same, there can be change with the sequence here. Okay, there can be change with respect to the sequence. So how will there be a change in the sequence? This is all about it. Okay, see, here it is string and int, here it is int and string here. This is all about the entire process. So what is constructor overloading? The process of having multiple constructors within the same class, but there should be change in the arguments here. First and second constructor, there is a change in the number of arguments. Okay. First and the third constructor, there was a change in the data type. The number of arguments might be same, but there was a change in the data type. And the first and the last constructor, number of arguments are same, data type is also same, but there was a change in the sequence, string and int, and then int and string, right? So this is all about it. In order to print it, you can print it in a beautiful manner. So you can write brand colon plus, you can just write it as brand. Okay, just a moment, you can just write it as brand. So that is up to our specification level, and then I can also write it as cost. Okay, and I can print the cost also that way. And how do you align your code? Control A, Control I, and here also string, and you can print the fuel as well. Okay, fuel type as well. Okay, I'm just trying to concat the data here. Okay, I'm just trying to concat the data. So here I can print the cost here. Okay, so here I can print the cost first, and then I can concat the cost, and then plus. Perfect. Okay, so now here I have created multiple constructors here. But when will those constructors get executed? Only when we create an object. So I can create an object either in the same class or another class, it doesn't matter. So here, common sense. If I create an object of vehicle v1 equals to new vehicle of, okay, I am passing BMW. Where will the control take me to? See, press control on your keyboard, hover on the constructor, click on the constructor. It is taking me to the second constructor. So now the common sense is when I create one object, I can access only one constructor at a time. One object can invoke only one constructor at a time. So there are 4 constructors, meaning I should mandatorily create at least 4 objects in order to invoke all those 4 constructors, right? So therefore, I will create vehicle v2 equals to new vehicle of, and I am passing, okay, Audi, okay, I'm passing Audi, and I'm passing the cost also. Imagine it is $4,500 or something, $45,000. Okay, done. So now here, if I just execute it, which constructor will get executed? Press control on your keyboard, over on the constructor call, it takes me to the first constructor. So that way, we are just supposed to understand the data here. Okay. Now we can also create, okay, vehicle v3 equals to new vehicle of, and here I'll pass 889, and here I'll just pass it as Suzuki. Okay, so now which one will get executed? The last one. Why? Because I'm passing the cost and the data here. And now when I try to print the last one, that is vehicle v4 equals to new vehicle of, brand I'll give it as Honda, and the fuel, imagine I'll just give it as petrol. Okay, so I should be able to access those respective content here. This is all about the entire process here. Okay, so now when I execute it, will I be able to access those data here? Absolutely yes. See, I'm able to access all those respective content here. All those 4 constructors got invoked. Okay, and there's one more small hint I'll give you here. Okay, so what is that hint, sir? I will tell you. See, if I have a class, okay, if I have a class called as, okay, imagine it is pen. Okay, so now here when I tell pen p1 equals to new pen of, what did you understand over here? There is a memory location called as heap area. We know that, correct? Heap area is a memory location wherein the objects will get created. What is this? This is nothing but heap area where the objects get created. Now when I tell new, okay, now when I tell new, an object is getting created. An object is getting created with the address 111. And who is pointing to it? P1 is pointing to it. And simultaneously, the constructor also will get executed, right? Now, I can also create an object with the help of new pen of. Even this is a syntactically valid object creation. Here, When I tell new, what will happen here? An object will get created with the address 222. That's it. New meaning an object got created with address 222 and the constructor will get executed. But there is no reference pointing to that respective object. See, P1 is pointing to that respective object, no, but here there is no reference pointing to that object. So this is an object here without any name here. So both are absolutely valid. I can either create an object like this or I can have one reference pointing to that as well. So once I create an object, it will have some address. If I want one reference pointing to it, I have to make use of the reference variable who will point to that respective object. Or else one object will get created with address 222. Here there is no references pointing. There is no one pointing to that respective object because it's an object without a name. Okay, so this is what we are supposed to understand. See, it's not that you have to always create an object like this. You can directly make use of new vehicle. You can remove this reference variable as well. It will absolutely work fine. See, both are absolutely valid here. Okay, it's just our understanding perspective. Okay, how good we can analyze and get the flow here. Okay, so this is all about the entire part. So now when I execute it over here, did I get the expected output here? See, I will be able to get the expected output same. Here, these two objects are with name. Here, these two objects are without name here. Okay, so up to our clarification level, we can understand and get to know the flow. Okay, so this is all about the entire process of constructor overloading.